And for we have Bojan Krasic, Director and President of Beleave. How are you doing today?
Not bad. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And we were speaking just before sitting down here that I actually visited Beleave for my first time about a month ago or so. We were invited out there and Shane gives a tour. It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't, and it was actually above expectations. Where I looked at some of the cannabis he was growing there, it looked really, really nice.
It's one of those underrated stories we kind of kept quiet, but Shane's a rock star. He's been doing that for such a long time, over 20 years of experience. He's really been able to grow from, in the last 18 months since we got our actual cultivation license, just in terms of yields and, making the atmosphere a lot better inside and the climate controls and the fees that he's using. And, people are quite surprised when they come and see it. Even some of the underground guys from before, I've shown them pictures and they're quite impressed because there's that stigma between what LPs can do and what they can do, and everybody's quite impressed. There's a bit of a talk in BC about him right now. He's getting some notoriety, so super proud to have him. He's one of the original founders. So,
and in that exact point you just said there, actually, I started seeing that sentiment all over my Facebook or my different Twitter feeds, whatever it be, where your connoisseurs, they secretly, or not so secretly, do not want to buy cannabis from LPs because they don't think they can grow. But then some of these LPs are coming out and they have these buds and people are like, wow, this came from LP? It's funny that stigma was there. I didn't really fully realize until after the legalization. That's a huge topic right now.
It absolutely is. I mean, I think everybody learned over some time and period of time that how to actually make, or grow good cannabis. Maybe they've switched their growers, maybe they've changed their techniques. Everybody learned. I think everybody just kind of, head on first and said, we want to be part of this business, we'll figure it out later. Yeah. Some have, some haven't. We've always been there and we're just continuing to improve, right? Yeah. So there's definitely a couple guys out there that know what they're doing and we applaud them for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of improvements, one of the things that Shane was telling me that I'm sure you can elaborate on was each grow that they've had over the last months and all this time since you guys have had your cultivation license, you've been increasing your pounds per light quite drastically, he was telling me.
It definitely. So about 18 months ago, he was getting about 1.2 pounds per light to the point where now he's getting 4.2 pounds a light. Yeah. In investor talk and capital markets talk, that's about 720 grams per square foot under canopy per year. Yeah. Right. And he still thinks he can grow that. I didn't believe him a couple of times. I actually had to go and count myself, which you wouldn't see someone like me do that, but I definitely went out there and had to double check, as he said. I was up till 12 o'clock just going over it 4 times. So it's like, these numbers are right. I go like, okay, fair enough.
That's more than double the yield just over tweaking things, working on different aspects. One of the things that was very evident when we went there, there's a culture. Everyone we came across, whether it be students who are learning how to grow, whether it be Shane himself, or there's another master grower there. I'm eluding his name.
There's a couple guys. There's Charlie, there's Evan, there's... he's going to hate me for it, but it's going to throw my tongue. But I'll mention
it's the interview. It's the interview thing. When you come in the interview, sometimes like, I know this name, I know it, but no, I'm
just really bad with names. That's I'm known for that. I'm good with numbers. I'm bad with names, but they've Shane learns from them as much as they learn from him. I mean, most of them have come from from Niagara College, right? Yeah. We've partnered up with them. We scoop their best talent, and some of these guys are willing to go to British Columbia for Abbotsford and Chilliwack expansion indoor facility. Some of them really want to stick with the greenhouse, so they're going into our London facility. Yeah. It's we learn from them, they learn from us. And Shane really has a great management style with these guys, and I think they respect him and he respects them back, and it helps with that culture. When you come to work and you just actually want to improve every single day. It's not just a job. It's like you said, it's a culture thing for us.
And it was noticeable. It was noticeable when you get in there. I don't just say that lightly. I mean, I've watched a lot of different hospitality companies or corporate companies, whatever it be, and you could tell almost immediately the type of culture that's there, the way that people just walk, the way they talk to one another, the way when you ask them a question about one of the plants, they were so eager to tell you, oh no, I've been working on this for a while. It was nice to see, and I guess that's coming through with this great yield that you guys are getting. But also, there's I'll watch all the different social medias to see how people are liking certain companies and certain plants. Beleave has been getting some good reviews on their cannabis, and it's interesting because it's still early, right? It's so early in this stage that it's fascinating as we're growing.
We don't have a single strain that's going to win out in this industry yet, in the legal industry, right? We've heard of different ones that are very popular, throughout the illicit market or the gray area market, whatever you want to call it, right, before legalization. But I think, it's an even playing ground for everybody. Everybody can market their strains, and at the end of the day, marketing is only a part of it. We learned early on, and that's the part that our growth team says, look, it's about the plant, right? And if you're talking about dry product and just smoking the flower or consuming the flower, you have to know what you're doing. You have to bring that old school culture into this whole new corporate world, right? So it's tough, right? You have a lot of SOPs to follow, right? You Health Canada's breathing over you.
They're very stringent.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So that was the initial difficulty, just kind of pairing that up with what the requirements are. Once you get past that, then you can just keep rolling into progression, right? And I think that's where we're at, and we'll can't wait to see what they do in our in our expansion facilities. I think they're going to do really well because it's that modular approach that we took from day one, right?
Yeah. And why don't we talk about that for a moment? Because what caught me off guard, actually, to be very honest, was the fact that very soon you guys are growing to, conservatively, you were saying earlier, 150,000 kilograms a year. That's a significant amount of cannabis. That's through 3 locations?
It's 4.
Okay.
It's actually, so the BC locations are split between 2 properties in Chilliwack and Abbotsford. They're going to total about 870,000 square feet of indoor grow. It's going to be the largest in the world for indoor grow. They're all actually, as you saw in our facility, in the Hamilton facility, they're all 2,000 square foot rooms with about 50 lights a pop.
Yeah.
And there's going to be 10 buildings that are just going to be, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Our partners are building that out up there. Look, I mean, it's easy to manage. And so that's 2 facilities, and then we have the London facility is going to be just our greenhouse, and it's mostly going to be for extraction because we're doing some really cool stuff with our extract materials. We don't believe that buying a machine extracting oil through carbon-based CO2s or ethanol. We use ethanol, for example. We don't believe that's the final product that people should be consuming. It should be the ease of consumption, right? So our whole motto is, I don't want to change the way you live. I want to change the way you feel. Right, so we're working on some really cool stuff around water solubility. We have it. We haven't shown it yet. We're filing patents around that. We don't know what the end product's going to be. Is it going to be a drink? Is it going to be an edible gummy bear, a Listerine strip, pill? We don't know, right?
RIs.
So we're working on the precursors. We're going to find out what people are going to like. If we give you something you can put into your drink or your cookies. You can, we'll figure out what people consume it most for, and then we'll say, look, maybe we can make that product, or we can partner with somebody to make that product, right? We don't want to jump into, making a beer, making a Coca-Cola or anything like that. Although those guys are big players and they have a big, marketing branding behind them, we're not going to compete with them. We want to provide them with something that they can use, and we can all make margin along the way. Right?
Exactly, yeah. And behind us as well, they've been going in and out. It's just showing the different plants that you have, a video that your team has put together, just showing the process and some of the handiwork. So we'll let that play in the background as we're going.
That was some of our earlier work. That's one of our rockstar scientists, Peter Chan, who's developed some water soluble products as well. So we're quite excited about it.
Right on topic then.
Right, exactly. And he's actually in France right now, holding a conference on what we're doing. So it's he's speaking at a conference. So it's quite interesting, right?
Nice. And it's like you said, right? And what's interesting though is that these products are allowed in the States, and that's something Canada has to really realize, that we're letting these American companies really start growing, and that's a good thing. Like as an enthusiast for the plant, I love to see that. But in Canada, we're obviously limiting right now. But what we are allowed to do is the research side. We have a lot more ability to do research because it's now legal. So legal for us to be able to work on. So it's nice because it's like you said. Are you going to go out and get a Pepsi or a Coke, some sort of beverage, and try to fight Coke, or are you like, hey, we've got the primo products for you to be using in your drinks? That's how you're saying you want to be able to, or at least one of the ways you're going to be looking into
One of the ways, right? One of the ways. I mean, we always look at full vertical integration, right? I mean, if you look at it, want to control everything, just like everybody else at our company does, right? But you can't. right? So you got to figure out how far can you take it, and where the marketing, branding, and manufacturing power of some of these bigger players are, right? I mean, they have distribution. The biggest problem is how will some of these guys actually distribute the product when they don't have a license to do so, right? I understand on the CBD side of things, which is gaining a lot of popularity, but on the psychoactive ingredients, you still have to go through one of the LPs, right? I mean, Pepsi or Coca-Cola can't sell to OCS. We can, right?
Correct.
So how does that partnership work? We don't want to jump into it just yet. I think, this is, I keep saying this word and everybody does. It's a nascent industry. Yes, it is, right? Level playing ground as of October 17th.
Exactly.
Right. So we've done everything we could. We caught up in terms of space and capacity.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just the first iteration of what you need to do. It's have enough capacity to support your supply chain. Will we buy off of other people or other countries? Absolutely, we will. I mean, we have over 60 hectares of land being developed in Colombia right now, which we have 51% ownership of. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't bring any of that stuff in.
No, exactly.
Right. At this point in time, eventually, all this, if it becomes commoditized, all these big facilities, they may not be profitable. Yeah. They may all have to go into derivative products, which demand a higher margin. Once you really play with that bioavailability side of things, I can actually give you a lot less from 1 gram of cannabis and make a lot more money off it, but you'll still feel the same effect. So why do you care?
Exactly.
Right. So it has to develop. Right. It's not there yet, but we caught up on the fundamentals. Now we're going after that, big bang in terms of research and development of new products, right? So we're really excited about that one.
No, and all those things are really interesting to hear and appreciate. But sliding a little bit more and change the tone a little bit, something interesting happened a few days ago, a 7-to-1 stock split. What was the basis behind that? And I'm sure of all people, you'd be the one to explain it.
It was something we sort of battled with for a while. Originally, when we structured this company, we figured we have a tight share structure. Fundamentally makes a lot of sense. However, the investor base is mostly retail in this sector at this point in time. We were at a price point where the retail investors did not, find the value in it. Between $1 to $2 stock, and the market cap wasn't big enough for any institutional guys to really get involved, and take a significant position. So we looked at it and we said, hey, why don't we do a split? We don't have enough shares out there. Our volume is, not dried up, but it wasn't as good as some of the other guys, and it's not as enticing. Yeah. So I think we did a right move. I mean, I think yesterday you saw 17.5 million shares trade hands. Yeah. We were the leader on the CSE. Today, before I came in here, it was 4 million shares traded, right? So it gives people an opportunity to get in. It gives them an opportunity to trade a little bit more. And I think it attracts a different type of investor that's looking for a bit of a better deal, right?
Yeah. And it's nice, too, because a lot of people, it's funny, when I first started looking into cannabis stocks, everyone's like, over 100 million shares outstanding, like, they're so diluted, they're all this. But then you start realizing it's the ones who have over 100, 200, 300 million. Absolutely. They're the ones who have the liquidity. They're the ones who aren't being trapped by these other people. Like, it's a lot harder to take over when there's that many shares outstanding, and it's just, you're able to eat up someone who's looking to sell some position because there's so much volume there. Yeah. So I'm actually starting to lean towards more companies who have over 200 million shares because I know that I can buy and sell when I want to.
and again, it's my, as a former investment banker, like it's in the capital markets guy, it's that whole mentality. Why have so much dilution? Why have 100 million plus shares outstanding? Yeah. And that's what we went out with initially. And then we started realizing, like you said, that liquidity, providing the liquidity for the investors is key right now. So that's what we went with. It's been successful so far. We hope it will. We have a lot of news to put out there, and guys will pick up on it. There's a lot more share trading hands, right? So
and it's interesting as well because I've been watching Beleave over the last month or so as a personal investor, because I'm looking at a company that I think you guys are sitting around like 50 million market cap at the time being, which I don't understand. Like it's crazy because you guys are about to get to very shortly. Over 150,000 kilograms. I think it's fully funded. Am I getting that correct?
It's fully funded. Yeah. It's fully funded either on our own or through some partnerships. Yeah. Look, when it's all said and done, at wholesale levels of just dry cannabis, we're looking to have about $477 million in revenues per year. And we're not stopping, right? I mean, this is just us saying, hey, we're here as well. Land and land acquisition and properties are not a problem in Canada. We have lots of it. So it took us, less than 6 months to get all this done. Yeah. We were focused on what you saw back there before. It was just the product, research, innovation, and really honing in the art because we were waiting for this legalization to happen. We know what's going. We know what's coming, right? So
Yeah, and it sounds like you've got a lot of the good pieces put together. I'm really interested to see how trading continues to work on your company, but also as these milestones start coming up, I think you guys are going to catch a few people off guard. So hopefully that's not me, because I actually am just surprised. I'm an investor first.
Right.
I'm looking to get a position personally because I'm seeing the type of aspects I want to see going into legalization, where you want to find a company that's got a lower valuation. They may be undervalued. I'm not a financial advisor, so that's me personally saying it for myself. But just in general, these are the type of elements we're going to look for. I can't wait to have you on again in the future as you continue to grow and we're watching this story take shape as we march into legalization or past it now.
Absolutely. Always glad to be here.
All right. Well, appreciate it very much for your time, my good man.
Thank you.
Your stock can be found on the CSC under BE.
That's correct.
If those who are looking want to look a little bit further into.